Hi there. We grow up with stories from, as a child, bedtime stories, then you go into reading at school, books on adventure, travel, expeditions, excitement, and so on, where our imagination is opened up. We explore, we learn, we identify. Then you go into more mature books, classical literature, and so on. And also, we get stories by listening to the radio or watching movies or TV. So it's a part of our life. And in recent years, TV drama has been a rich means of telling great stories, with episodes spanning 6 to 20 episodes, or hours rather. Every aspect of the dramatic arc can be given full potential. Today I'm going to talk about a series on TV called Kin, and it's an Irish production, and Ireland has a rich tradition of storytelling, and it's the story of a Dublin-based crime family headed by Frank, who is played by Aidan Gillen, who starred in Game of Thrones, for example. They are ruthless. They enforce discipline within their sub-dealers and customers and so on. But however, they are not the top gang. They have to pay tribute to the number one crew, which is run by Eamon Cunningham, played by Kieran Hines, who has had a tremendous career, such movies as Munich and Red Sparrow, and the TV series Rome. And he plays Cunningham with chilling realism. He really brings a lot of weight to the part. He's totally convincing. There's a dispute between one of Cunningham's gang and one of the Kinsellas. In fact, it's Frank's son, Eric, nicknamed Viking, who is a very hot-headed, always spoiling for a fight. And it escalates into a real feud with all the main members of Kinsella family being placed under death threat with bounties on their heads, and they have the police guarding their homes. So there's quite a few tit-for-tat killings during this episode. This whole gang war leads Amanda, played terrifically by Claire Don, who is trying to look out for her side of the family. She's married to Jimmy, and she enlists the help of her brother-in-law Michael, who's played by Charlie Cox, an actor I'm not really aware of, but he is exceptional in the part. He's quite quiet, but he's lethal. His nickname is the Magician, and he's just come out after 8 years in prison. He initially wants to kind of step aside from the violence because he's trying to re-establish some sort of contact with his daughter. But he inevitably gets embroiled, mainly because of Amanda's entreaties, and the feud is on. without giving you any spoilers, Amanda really is pitted against Frank because he has to stand by his son Eric, who's the instigator of all this, and at the same time they're all pitted against Eamon Cunningham, and how it's resolved is really well handled. Season 2 is continues the story of the family, and we were briefly introduced to Bren, who was in prison, and there's a prison visit. We met him, and he appears to be the angriest man in Ireland, which is quite a hotly contested title. He gets parole at the beginning of season 2, and immediately upon his release he starts to cause trouble for the family. He wants to reassert himself as patriarch. He is the brother of Frank, but he's physically and aggressively more dominant, and he wants to take his place at the head of the table. And he's the father to Jimmy, Amanda's husband, and to Michael. Bran is a testosterone-fueled nightmare, and the first thing he does on leaving prison is to track down another prominent dealer who he accuses of being a rat or a grass while in prison, and seeks his revenge on him, which upsets a lot of the business dealings and kicks off another set of feuds. Meanwhile, the family has a massive debt to pay off to the main importers or exporters who are a Turkish mob, and that's leading to further complications. Many great series suffer from what's called season 2 decline, where the second season just doesn't live up to the first. Maybe all the ideas were put into the first season, or there's a different group of writers, whatever the reason. It's happened a lot, been very disappointing. However, season 2 of Kin is even better than season 1, and the two seasons together, everyone I've spoken to about the season raves about the series, raves over it. It's really good. What makes Kin such a worthwhile watch is firstly the writing and the plot arcs. We totally believe in the story. There's nothing far-fetched in it whatsoever. In fact, I recall here in Liverpool a dispute which started just as an argument in a pub and escalated into a large-scale feud with 4 fatalities, 4 shootings. So it does go on in all the major cities. The characters seem real. Their motives, their ambitions, their flaws, they're all brought, given a lot of depth by the writing. We see things go awry. We see plans go wrong. We see killings that are full of mistakes and flaws. And it's true to life in that respect. In a lot of gangster dramas, the police are amazingly absent. You know, you'll see full auto gunfire in city centres and car chases shooting at each other. No sign of the police. However, in Kin, the police, the Garda Síochána, the Irish police, play a full part. They're investigating, they're making arrests, they've got orders of battle of the gangs involved, and they are doing their best to disrupt and to arrest and to prosecute all the people involved. So there is sufficient attention paid to that. And the police do have a very difficult job, because as shown in the series, the level of forensic awareness by even the young teenage gang members is very, very high. Kin has that very, very interesting trick, which has happened in other series such as The Sopranos, The Shield, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, which puts you on the side rooting for people who are drug dealing killers, evil people, and yet we want them to succeed. And it's a really interesting trick of the writing and the production to do this. Then we have the acting. The cast is outstanding, as well as those previously mentioned. We also praise the actor who plays Jimmy, Amanda's husband, Emmett Scanlon, who was recently in the acclaimed series Fool Me Once, and Frank's sister Birdie, played by Maria Doyle Kennedy, who can convey much more with just facial expressions than pages of script would allow. I mentioned the character Bren, and I don't think I mentioned who plays him, and he is played by Francis McGee, who's a very, very well-known well-known Irish actor, and he was previously in series 2 of The Tourist, I noticed, and he plays the part superbly, and every second he's on the screen he's magnetic, and playing a bad guy in a story about bad guys, he pulls off very, very well. And finally, Dublin itself, the setting for the story. Now, it's many years since I was in Dublin, and I've always liked the city. It's always been a great place, but in recent years it's been transformed, and there's been a lot of investment and luxury hotels, fine restaurants, and you see that side of it in Kin. But you also see the deprivation, the rundown areas where street level drug dealing is taking place, and the filming of the locations is very, very well done. So it's great television, and the series, both series together, provide us with a really great story. And as I said at the beginning, we grew up with stories. It's something we enjoy as people, and you can't get a better example of TV drama than Kin.